Control Your Mind First, inspiring short story, 600 words, 1 paragraph. In a quiet village surrounded by golden fields and whispering winds, there lived a young man named Ram who constantly felt overwhelmed by life, always believing that circumstances controlled him more than he controlled them, until one day his wise grandfather handed him a glass of water filled to the brim and asked him to walk across the courtyard without spilling a single drop, and as Ram focused intensely on the trembling rim of the glass, ignoring every noise, distraction, and person calling his name, he reached the other side successfully, and his grandfather asked with a smile, "Did you notice the children laughing, the birds fighting in the tree, the cart passing by?" To which Ram shook his head, saying he hadn't seen or heard anything except the water in his hands, and his grandfather replied, "That is the power of a controlled mind, when you decide what deserves your attention and what doesn't," a message that sank deep into Ram's heart because he realized he had been spending his energy worrying about what others thought, chasing problems that weren't even his, and allowing emotions to drag him in every direction like a leaf in the wind. So he decided that day to train his mind the same way he had focused on the glass, beginning with small steps like waking up early, sitting quietly for a few minutes, and choosing only one important task each morning to give his full energy to. And slowly he noticed that life stopped feeling chaotic because he no longer reacted to every fear or frustration instantly but paused and observed his thoughts like clouds passing in the sky, choosing which ones were worth holding on to. And as days turned into weeks, people in the village began to notice a calmness in him, a new strength that didn't come from muscles or wealth but from clarity, for when someone mocked him, he simply smiled and let it pass because he knew that people only project what they carry inside. When business became slow, he didn't panic as before but adjusted patiently, trusting the process, and when he felt stressed, he reminded himself that the mind was like a wild horse, powerful but only useful when guided, and this shift gradually transformed his entire life, helping him build better relationships, make smarter decisions, and stay grounded even in storms. And one evening while watching the sun melt into the horizon, Ram finally understood that the secret to peace was never about controlling the world around him but about mastering the world within him. For life would always bring challenges, noise, distractions, and opinions, yet the person who learns to control the mind first becomes unshakable, unstoppable, and deeply content. And years later, when young villagers came to him seeking advice, he shared the same lesson his grandfather gave him, holding out a glass of water and saying, "Your focus decides your future. You control your mind first, and everything else will follow," leaving them inspired by the simple but powerful truth that true strength begins not with changing situations but with changing how you think, choose, and respond, because once your mind becomes your ally, no challenge is too heavy, no failure too scary, and no dream too far.